Robbie Newell? Who is Robbie Newell? Robert Newell. He's this guy. He's caught my attention. He's on Facebook. He's got a new house. That's all I have to see. You're my new favorite guy. He likes guys or whatever to a certain extent or whatever. If they're good guys, and they have things. And Robbie Newell, he's got things. And that's what I noticed about him. If you're affiliated with certain organizations or bad activities, he doesn't like you. StacksAMilli. He likes people like a Robert Newell or a Craig Zeke. And then eventually I'll just stop looking at them or whatever. Like sometimes I don't even think of them or whatever. You know what I mean? Obviously. But just like a Sergeant Matt Earls, like, no, I don't just make everyone look bad or whatever. It's only ones that have came across as bad or ones that I want to warn people about or ones that, you know what I mean? They obviously did something wrong, certain ones, if there is ones that are about those people. I only do sworn testimonies. He tries to do a lot of fictional music and all that too, though. The She-Hulk. Yeah, I want to go see that, but he can't really afford it. I mean, I could. I mean, if I asked my mom, I'm sure she could drive me up to Owen Sound. I have my e-bike if I want to try the e-bike all the way up to Owen Sound. Port Elgin used to have a movie theater. I live in this wonderful city of Port Elgin. It's a beautiful city. It's a vacation town. Everybody's lovely. We have some very beautiful homes here. And I'm sure there's a lot that do have their home movie theaters. But there used to be a very nice little movie theater, what's known as like a town movie theater, where townies and whatnot, that's what I call them, townies, right? The ones that are always on the town and whatnot. Those could go to this movie theater. I think eventually that movie theater will come back to Port Elgin. But as of now, you got to go up to Owen Sound, which isn't bad. I've been to the Cineplex, and all the Cineplexes have new seating and whatnot. Yeah, it shut down, but I think eventually it may come back. It just takes an investor, somebody with enough money to say, you know what, I want that Port Elgin Cinemas to come back. There were people going every night. There were people even going in the wintertime. People love to go see a good film together in the actual venue, and especially in a place like Port Elgin. Not just in Owen Sound, but what was I saying? Oh, I could ask my mom to drive me out maybe. But it costs like 25, 30 bucks. But everybody knows, well, no, maybe you don't. I'm famous for going into the Cineplexes. StacksAMilli has videos in the Cineplexes. Right now, StacksAMilli's focused on his new tattoos. Woo! That's a big thing because they're saying, Stacks, you could be one day on the silver screen or what have you. I say, yeah, but I got to get my tattoos fixed. That's why I'm in one of the most premier areas for tattooing. That's down in Port Elgin. Nowhere else in all of the world, actually. I was down in Florida. They offered to do tattooing there. I was down in Tennessee. They said, go to Nashville and get some tats. I said, no, no. What about Edmonton? I said, well, no. They did one tattoo in Edmonton. It wasn't my... They said, the only place... And it's this Port Elgin. If you want StacksAMilli style, because he's got some new badass tats. And some more coming on the way. And tats are a big thing, and I know how big tats are. That's why you see this video talking about my experience of getting the tattoos. It's a big thing. You got to be living in the certain area. This Port Elgin is a certain area that has this certain man named Julian that will one day perish. That man won't be forever around. That one man, he runs out of energy. He only has so much energy. And that one man's the only one that could do these certain kind of tattoos right now in this area. So that's how rare it is. When you pay your 400 or 500 for the tattoo, that's a lot of money. 300, 400, whatever amount of money for the tattoo or whatever. I've been starving to get my tats. Oh, he's done a lot of work. But yeah, you got to enjoy the Cineplex. Who hadn't? And if you haven't, well, then go ahead. It's like $20 or $25. I even did the scene points with Scotiabank. He had a lot of scene points, and he was able to uh, go out a few times, maybe even once or twice, with a free general admission. It adds up that quick with the Scotiabank. All that. Take your kids out because I'll be taking my kids out in the future. That's a big thing that we'll be doing. And all that. Yeah, but that ain't much. Rewards for every kind of life. Scene Plus members. What's this? Dining, travel, shopping, and more. Yeah, why do you just keep repeating it, though, over and over is really what he's wondering. Like, everybody said congratulations on my status and all that. But why do you keep bringing it up over and over and over and again? Of that, oh, congratulations on your status, and bringing up things that were dropped. When things have been dropped, when everybody knows if you get arrested and it was for false reasons and it goes to court and you beat the charges, then why do you keep bringing up charges that were beaten? You're doing that for harassment purpose. And that is against the law. That is called harassment. Hey, listen, you're harassing me, please. Can you stop? Generally, people think that's what you have to say. Next thing you know, some powerful, they do it to women, and I'm not a woman. But I hadn't known as a man, well, you got to have proper procedure. And his proper procedure has been done for years now. So as my proper procedure continues within my own household, with my own family, he's got his own family, his own self. Generally, I'm living on my own and all the time. Workplace harassment. He knew he was going to have to deal with that, being an obese man. So that is why I had to return to Canada. I chose to. It wasn't a have to or nothing like that, or really. It was a good thing because, as people know, even people with disabilities, we feel, laugh, live like, eat food just like anybody else does. So as long as nobody's ha-ha-haing at me or whatever, I feel like a normal guy within my own jurisdictions. And believe it or not, there's females that believe I'm just a normal man too. And also there's family members and all that believe that he's a man too, just because has that fat on his body. But that is something he dealt with in the beginning. And what that did was that trained my mind to become super intellectual. The only way I was going to survive in the world was to have these super intellectualities. Or else I would just be this fat loser guy or whatever. So I had to develop, as many do, they develop these man skills. For what, and some people can't believe it. He developed a lot of skills to go with how he wanted his life. The big bathtubs and all that, blah, blah, blah. I came from a place that used to laugh at Tom and say, you'll never find a big bathtub. You'll never get the big toilet or whatever. So these are the same ones that are trying to drag us down, drag me down every day because Tom finally got his big toilet and his big bath and all that. And that's who they are. And they've always been like that with Ontario. And they've always been like that with Canada. And it's time we strengthen. And that was COVID-19, but let's strengthen even more. I was born, raised, and living here in Ontario. I was born here in Ontario. There's nowhere to go but to Ontario generally. I mean, unless Ontario got fully taken over, I could take my money elsewhere and my status elsewhere, but there isn't. There hasn't been any of that here in Ontario because he's got his grandfathered firearm and nobody will feel the power of firearms yet here in Ontario. And I don't think anybody does. So that's why I remain free here in Ontario, where I beat the charges here in Ontario. So I don't know what of any fake charges here in Ontario, but that wasn't my doing in here in Ontario because I've been working here in Ontario. Go look at all the fucking videos I released here in Ontario. Over 9,000 videos here in Ontario. You think I'm playing around here in Ontario? He ain't playing here in Ontario. He had nowhere else to go but the place he was born here in Ontario. You don't get that. I've been everywhere. He's been to Florida. He's been to Bahamas. He's been to Tennessee. He's been to Georgia. He's been to fucking Alberta. He's been everywhere. He's been to Kentucky. He's been to New York City. He's been to fucking everywhere. Detroit. He's been to, I've actually been there. And then I see what my Ontario is to me. And I will remain vigilant here in Ontario. I won't go nowhere. And I will not deal with workplace harassment nor of any other harassments, and nor do you have to. And as I am a higher up grandfathered in one, you know, some say government official and all that. I say I'm not. He's just the citizen. But they say your skills are so good, Tom, you could be one day governor. I say, hey, quite possibly. I see I'm really good. But Tom, you got men that and all that. But we already figured that out with pepper spray before. Pepper spray. But they said, Tom, those guys that you pepper spray, now they want to get shot. So they said, here you go, Tom, here's a firearm, courtesy of the RCMP. And that's where he's at right now. He hasn't done anything illegal. I had my self-defense charges dropped, and my charges were plea agreed. I chose not to go to trial and just complete it under a plea deal. Under the premise that I was to be a free man after 4 months, that there was to be no fake perpendicular things under, like, it was under a trustability. It was that they weren't going to take advantage of Tom, that Tom was to be treated fairly under the law, and he wasn't. And my firearm will prove that I was not treated fairly upon under the law of what we agreed on. That's a violation of the trial, and that's charges thrown out completely. We know the law. My lawyer knows the law, because I'm not hiring a lawyer anymore. It's myself that's lawyering just from the get-go. I only hired Shander for the court appearances. That's all he was. My lawyer has a firearm, and we will not stand down. And I've heard the judge say that even he's scared of Phil Thompson. I said, well, then why didn't you lock him up? Why did you not lock the man up? Send your officers, but they don't have officers, obviously, Tom. If they did, they would have locked that family up a long time ago. So it feels good to be who I am, an innocent person that never violated the law or whatever. And then you got those ones, they got to sleep under a rock or shift around at night or whatever, worrying if the U.S. Marshals are going to come get them or whatever. Or whoever else has the power. There may be somebody eventually that's got the power or whatever. And that's my standpoint with some of these RICO violators. It's like, whatever, we can't get you. U.S. Marshals only have their certain jurisdictions and blah, blah, blah. So I'll be my little selfie, and that's all I ever was his, but he got taken advantage of one time or whatever. But just that one time it can be the difference between being alive or dead, no matter how much money you're making, because he doesn't make that much money. He gets his disability pension, and he gets his little, but he ain't up to a U.S. Marshal standard or nothing like that. There's lots of American citizens that are like that. They have mortgages and whatnot, but they're not U.S. Marshals and whatnot, but they follow the law. And that's what I do. I follow the law and all that. And he's never done anything against the law or what have you. Every once in a while, I have a tirade video. I have to skip out of it or what have you while he's going back on his. But as long as my money's all good, like it usually is under law and the law stands, there's nothing to worry about. Because the law stands. And because I did so well in life, working so hard, the law stands with me. Because I had never violated the law. He just worked really hard. Just like he said we could under law. And then paid the taxes and is planning to pay his other taxes and blah, blah, blah. So you can't just run up in my house because I have, but they do that. Criminal organizations do that. So it's became my job as this like internet snitch to identify criminal organizations across Canada, the United States or whatever, just as a precaution to save myself and other people that are just like us. Normal people paying their rent or paying their mortgage, going to work, and all that. Because the SS, they really tried it or whatever. So that's why we have that First Amendment right. And we've heard it from the RCMP. We've heard it from the RCMP. They've now changed the laws here in Canada when it came to the firearms. You see, with me, I got my firearm. They've changed it all. They've seen what was going on. It is to an individual basis, though. You know, RCMP or RCMP, and they hear things. They have their statistics and whatnot. They do the laws and whatnot. And I wouldn't want to try nothing with a uniformed RCMP officer, what have you. But when it comes to your individuality as a man here in Canada, they were very big on keeping it all closed shut. They never had much publicity or whatever. Nobody knew what was going on. It was just like this dark shadow that I had to, I paid a lot of money to go through this big dark RCMP portal shadow with the OPP and all that. And he learned that once you're a man or whatever, you get your own firearm and all that. And if you didn't have one, you either get your PAL or you're grandfathered in. So I got grandfathered in. That's what I qualified for with my currency and my qualifications or whatever. I was able to get grandfathered in. And boy, did it cost a lot of currency. I can't wait to finally, at the end of the month, can you believe it? Because this is the big moment for me. Okay, it's became famous that he has the firearm or what have you, right? But that's only one thing because that costs so much money. I haven't been able to shop for groceries. And guess what he's going to be able to do in about 10 days? Guess what he's going to be able to do in about 10 days? He's going to be able to go shopping at Walmart. So I am going to be spending like $400 at Walmart for groceries. Well, no, I have a couple things on Amazon, but if I'm gonna go to Walmart and see if everything covers it. I want to get all the groceries he ever had. I want the whole United States Walmart special. I want because I've been starving. I want ranch, Hidden Valley. I want everything I can afford. I'm spending money at Walmart in 10 days. He's getting everything he wants, basically. Anything that he sees in there, he's picking up that he wants. That's what you think. That's what you think. But everyone knows when you go into the Walmart or whatever, you only pick up a certain things, and then you're like, oh, this is way over my budget because it goes quick or whatever. But you know what I mean. He's going in, he's going to go grocery shop. But he's hungry. He's going to get a whole full cart or whatever and all that. We got juices and all that. Yeah, juice. I love juice. Produce at Walmart. I know they got those really good frozen meals and all that. That's what I'm going for at Walmart. And sometimes they have some really good meats, and they got some really good they got some good deals on cheeses in their bakery. Their bakery is unbeknownst or whatever. It doesn't matter. That's got nothing to do with me. The bakery is unannounced or whatever and all that. Must be, but I know me and my mom are going to be going for groceries at the end of the month. So if you want to be there for pictures or whatever and all that, feel free. The last time I went for a big shopping haul was Costco. He loves Costco. In Brampton, me and my Auntie Carolyn used to go to Costco. He hasn't seen a Costco shopping cart in a while. Yeah, my name is StacksAMilli. Can you believe it? Guys that make videos are very high up. I guess you didn't know that. There was this fake condensation. Did you know that? Not know there's a guy named Steven Spielberg and all that? You think that all people that do videos are like these poor peasants of a people or what have you. But no, you're completely wrong. There's a man named Steven Spielberg these days and all that and all that. Okay. So I just want people to know that or whatever as we move on. That StacksAMilli, he's very successful in his videos. You might have heard it from like somebody like maybe DJ Khaled. He's trying to start problems and all that, trying to make people look bad or whatever. But yeah, I have a cart for myself too and some money to go with it and all that, if you didn't know. Anyways, Costco's really good and everything and all that and all that. I mean, the guy almost hurt me, eh? Pull ups, protein for having a cart. So you got to watch that, eh? But yeah, they got people in there. I love the free samples. Love the free samples. They even have like a balsamic vinegar, olive oil, and all that. Curved UHD. They do a lot of stuff over there. Fiji apples. My auntie rides around in that buggy. That's what she's famous for. They have these too. I guess there's people like they go there to get their bulk amounts and whatever, and they do it on a big orange thing or whatever. Oh my God, it's Joe Biden with the shopping cart. He's a Costco guy. I didn't know that. Even because he came across as a Uncle Sam's or whatever. What's that Walmart one? Sam's something. Sam's Club. Joe Biden comes across as a Sam's Club kind of guy, but no, yeah, I bet you know. You know who Joe Biden comes across as? He's Sam's Club, Costco. He's every single one of them or whatever. Boar's Head Meat. He's every single one that exists. He's been to it.